Some cities are born with a single name, but this one carried three. On these hills, long before kings and chronicles, travelers whispered different words for the same place. The Byzantines called it Samvatas, a distant outpost at the edge of the steppe. Merchants from the south spoke of Kyiv, a growing market on the Dnieper. And the Slavic tribes who lived here simply saw their land, a quiet settlement above the river, a place that would one day be known as Kyiv. Who built the first homes here? Who lit the first fires? Archaeology gives us fragments, pottery, earth walls, traces of hands long forgotten, but no single answer. Only hints, only shadows. This was not yet a capital, not even a city. It was a crossroads where cultures met in silence. Steppe riders, river traders, and farmers who shaped the soil beneath their feet. 3 names, 3 stories, 1 place. And its true beginning is still a mystery.
The true history of Kyiv is a layered excavation. Beneath the grand fortress of the Rus princes, we find the humble villages of the Polians. These were the true inheritors of the land, a quiet, cooperative Slavic tribe dedicated to their soil and their simple life. But the Dnieper was a magnet for power. For centuries, this strategic bottleneck drew migration and conflict. Before the Polians, archaeologists find traces of the Prague culture, the Penkovka, the Volontisevo. Each wave left behind ceramics, burial mounds, and fragments of identity. The Khazar control created a unique melting pot. In the lowlands of the Podil, under the watchful eyes of the Samvatas garrison, Hebrew and Turkic merchants established Kyiv, a vital trade hub. They brought silver and luxury, but also a tension that simmered beneath the surface. It was a divided city. The Slavic farmers, the Khazar overseers, and the powerful, mercantile Jewish community. To understand the beginnings of Rus, we must first accept this volatile, multinational foundation. This division, this unstable mix of cultures, was the kindling. Now we look for the spark, the moment one group decided they had paid enough.
Part 2 showed us the kindling, a divided city simmering with ethnic and economic tension, Slavs under the heel of Khazar tolls. The stage was set. All that was missing was the spark. That spark came from the north, on long ships that carved their way down the great river system. They were the Vikings, or as the Byzantines knew them, the Rus. These were not simple traders. They were pirates, mercenaries, and conquerors, driven by the lure of Constantinople's gold and the wealth of the East. In the late 9th century, 2 Norse warlords, Askold and Dir, exploited the local resentment against the Khazars. They seized Samvatas, killed the local Khazar command, and claimed the city. For a brief, intoxicating moment, Askold and Dir were the new masters of Kyiv. But power is temporary. True authority requires a dynasty. The arrival of Oleg the Prophet in 882 was not a peaceful transition. It was a coup. Oleg eliminated Askold and Dir, declaring Kyiv the mother of Rush cities, forging the scattered settlements into a true state. The city's identity was sealed. No longer a Khazar outpost, no longer just a trade hub. It was the heart of a new, ambitious power built on Norse ambition and Slavic soil. With Oleg's ruthless maneuver, the city's focus was consolidated. It was now Rus, and Kyiv was its heart. The next century was a relentless climb to dominance. The early Rurikids, Oleg, Igor, Svyatoslav, were expansionists, adventurers whose campaigns terrified Constantinople. But the pivotal moment was not conquest, it was conversion. Prince Vladimir, seeking an identity strong enough to bind his vast pagan territories, looked south. His choice was a political and spiritual detonation. In 988, Christianity arrived in Kyiv.
It was not a gentle baptism, it was a furious purging of the old ways. Idols were smashed, the ancient gods of thunder and earth were cast into the Dnieper. The old Kyiv of the Vikings and pagans was drowned, and in its place rose a gleaming Christian capital. Under Yaroslav the Wise, this ambition culminated in the Golden Age. Kyiv became the northern Constantinople, a metropolis of stone cathedrals, vast libraries, and legal codes. The trade hub, once called Samvatas, was now a powerhouse of European culture and wealth. This was the undisputed zenith of its power.
The Golden Age was a brilliant but fragile peak. As the descendants of Yaroslav the Wise turned against each other, the powerful state fractured into feuding principalities. The heart of Rus began to weaken. The true, catastrophic end came not from internal strife, but from the east. In 1240, the Mongol hordes, led by Batu Khan, tore through the city gates. The destruction was absolute. Kyiv was burned, its great cathedrals ruined, its libraries scattered. The metropolis was reduced to a ghost town, fading into the forgotten wilderness of the Dnieper. The subsequent centuries saw the city pass from one power to another, Lithuanians, Poles, Cossacks, becoming a borderland prize, perpetually defined by what it was and not what it is. The vibrant trade center once called Kyiv was silent. The Khazar fort Samvatas was history. The magnificent Rus capital became a memory. But the quest for the beginning reveals the legacy. Every layer of ash, every forgotten scroll, every name the city bore, they all confirm that this was never a single story. Kyiv's destiny was to be the eternal crossroads, where the world's great powers clashed, died, and were reborn.